Welcome back. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said on Wednesday that his government will work closely with the National Assembly to eliminate the political and bureaucratic obstacles that have delayed the establishment of state police in Nigeria. He made this statement at the State House in Abuja during a meeting with the Northeast Governors Forum, led by Governor Babangana Zulum. The president emphasized that the time has come to develop a clear and united approach to community-based policing, one that takes into account the unique security needs of different parts of the country. He said, "I've been closely examining the security situation. I've seen how the Civilian Joint Task Force has responded to security challenges using many creative methods to protect local communities. This has made me seriously reconsider the idea of establishing state police." And of course, joining me for this discussion is a public affairs analyst, popularly known as Dotun Ojon. He is right here in the studio with me. My brother, it is indeed a pleasure to have you once again.
It's good to be here again.
Fantastic. Yeah, thank you so much. And of course, joining us via Zoom, I've got Executive Editor, TVC News, Kayode Ladende, joining us via Zoom. Kayode, it is also fantastic to have you join us on the show this evening.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mark.
Thank you so much. Kayode, let me begin with you quickly. Now, how will the federal government balance the push for state police with the constitutional authority and operational integrity of the Nigerian police force, from your point of view?
Yeah, I think it's easier this time around. The governors have been calling for it. I can't remember which of the governors is not in sync with the idea of state police. So when you now hear the president saying it's time for state police, because the problem has always been about control. It's always been about, I don't want to lose control of the powers that I have. That has always been the implicit reason for successive president not, giving in to state police. So I think it's something that has come to stay. We can only wait for the constitutional amendments to be over. It's not something that can be rushed, like the case of the national anthem when we switched to national anthem. The operational framework, which you actually alluded to, it's something that just to pick up some documents that have been produced in the past, also to pick up some advanced democracy like United States that is operating presidential system of government, where you see federating unit having a whole lot, including state police, in place, and find a way of, localizing it to our problems. I've heard some analysts, trying to say that different regions have different problems. Beyond the current problems, you need to build an institutional framework that would even outlast this current problem. Security can come in different dimensions. 30 years ago, there was nothing like terrorism. There was nothing like suicide bombing in Nigeria. So I think beyond the current challenges that different regions face, the framework should be holistic. As much as it is holistic, it shouldn't be an excuse for you not to get started. Let's get it started. Let's amend it from time to time. Bottom line is, this is the time for state police, and let's not dilly-dally about it. Let's not play politics with it. Let the power be devolved to the subnationals. I know police have their fears, but then their fears is not out of the fear of some governors may not pay regularly, they may not pay as much as federal. But the overall interest is that there will be more people working, there will be more people being employed, and insecurity will be reduced to BRS minimum.
All right, thank you very much. Now, Dotun, you heard Kayode emphasizing that this is the time for it. Yeah. But given Nigeria's history of political abuse of power at the state level, now, how can we ensure that the creation of state police won't become a tool for oppression rather than protection?
Okay, let me thank Kayode for how he brilliantly actually started that conversation. And from there, before I come to your question, I will quickly also
chip something in.
Yes, and that's the power of the people in a democracy.
Right.
The president said that one of the things that has made him to think about state police recently is the effort of the JTF in protecting their community, in saying that we will not be here and we allow miscreants to take over our community. So in democracy, the people remains, quote unquote, remains the most important factor. And once you are in a community of people that are resolute to make things happen, things will naturally happen.
Okay.
And that's why I'm I'm glad that the federal government is looking at this holistically, because leadership is about 5 P's. One of the P's is priority. We can continue to talk about state police like forever. If it's not the priority of government, there's nothing that can be done. And I like it that one of the luck that we have, or lucky situations that we have now, is that there's a president who has what's it called, the advantage of having a lot of people supporting him in government. So he can reach out to the National Assembly and say, oh, this is my priority at the moment, and can get it done. Coming to your question as to the abuse of power is not just something that is limited to state. Anybody can actually abuse power. But again, everybody in Nigeria today has come to realize that the major challenge we have now is security. You cannot build an economy without security. You cannot do anything. I just my summer today, this year, I've been around communities in Nigeria. I was in Osun State. I was in many places where I saw tourist attraction centers. Yeah. But of course, nobody's going to come there if they are not sure of security. Safety, yeah. So governors can abuse, and we have seen a lot of people abuse power. But again, let's talk about what's happening in Ondo State, for example. Amotekun in Ondo State is one of the star projects of the government of Ondo State. Yeah. And we have not recorded any, at least I'm going to say 2-3 days in a week, we have not recorded any situation where they go out. And specifically, the federal government through the Nigeria police actually told them that no other agency of government will come out during election. Okay. And everybody, or most politicians, are more interested in election than anything. So if you know that they are not going to come out to disrupt election or use them to steal ballot paper, I think that some of these abuses that we're talking about will be minimal. All
right, thank you very much. Now, Kayode, very quickly, I understand that the priority is finally beginning to gain a lot of momentum here, but funding is already a long conversation with our security forces. Now, how dedicated and transparent will they be when it comes to funding state police if it eventually happens?
I don't know whether it's a case of if. I think it has become a case of when. Okay. And we are even saying the when should be faster than now. And when it comes to funding, like I said, it is natural for an existing institution to be scared of what their fate will look like. Just like what it is in the judiciary, you know, people who are posted to federal high court most times usually prefer it to state high court. People who are doing stuff, those things are normal. But we have seen states who rise above the board, and that's the definition of true federalism. There are states in America that are far richer, if not as rich as the federal. It is what it is. If a state has an advantage, let the people working there enjoy the advantage. So when it comes to funding, trust me, Mark, it can never be as worse as what we are going through. Lives are being wasted, people are being killed. I don't think anything is too much, you know, to protect life and property, which is the primary function of government. It's about the welfare and the security of the people. So when it comes to funding, let there be more people being employed. And you know, the beauty of the state police is that you are policing a familiar terrain. You are policing people that you can say, oh, this is the son of this particular man that is terrorizing our community. I'm not giving full endorsement to something like OPC. You remember when OPC started, that you are even suspected to be a thief. You are as good as getting jungle justice almost immediately. You know, that's the excess. But it is that real. That's how much state policing will be. They are legalized to carry weapons. They are legalized to go into the nooks and crannies. There's nothing like, oh, somebody from another tribe is killing our children and blah, blah, blah. You are policing the people you know. So trust me, let's just drop this debate of the disadvantage, these politicians, like my brother said. This election happens once in 4 years, and for local government, it happens once in 3 years, compared to daily carnages that we'll experience. So my brother, let's just embrace this and get it started as quick as possible.
All right, thank you very much. All right, we go on a quick break now, and Newsweek